Have you ever felt paralyzed by fear? What if you could break free from those chains today? Welcome to a journey that will ignite your courage and transform your life forever. In the next few minutes, you'll discover powerful secrets that can shatter your fears and unlock a fearless version of yourself. Imagine living a life where fear no longer holds you back, where you pursue your dreams with unshakable confidence. Picture yourself standing tall, unafraid to take risks and embrace new challenges. This is not just a fantasy, it's a reality waiting for you to grasp. Stay with us until the end, and you'll uncover the keys to living boldly and fearlessly. This video holds the potential to change your life in ways you never thought possible. Don't miss out on the transformation that's about to begin. Your fearless future starts now. Let's dive in. Number 1. Embrace the unknown. Fear often stems from the unknown. It's the uncertainty of what's to come that can leave us feeling paralyzed, trapped in a cycle of worry and hesitation. But what if you could turn that fear of the unknown into a powerful force for good? Embracing the unknown is a game changer, a profound shift that can revolutionize your life. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, uncharted territory. The path ahead is shrouded in mystery, but it's also filled with infinite possibilities. Instead of being overwhelmed by fear, see this as an exciting adventure waiting to unfold. The first step towards fearlessness is changing your perspective on the unknown. Consider the moments in your life when you took a leap of faith. Perhaps it was starting a new job, moving to a new city, or even speaking in front of a crowd for the first time. These experiences, though daunting at first, likely brought about significant growth and new opportunities. By embracing the unknown, you opened doors that fear would have kept firmly shut. One way to start embracing the unknown is by shifting your mindset. Rather than viewing uncertainty as a threat, see it as a chance to learn and grow. Life is full of surprises, and each one presents an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This change in perspective can reduce anxiety and make the unknown seem less intimidating. Next, let's talk about taking action. Fearlessness isn't just about thinking differently, it's about doing things differently. Start by setting small, achievable goals that push you out of your comfort zone. Each step you take into the unknown, no matter how small, builds your confidence and diminishes your fear. For instance, if you're afraid of public speaking, start by speaking up in smaller group settings. Volunteer to present at a team meeting or join a local Toastmasters club. As you gradually expose yourself to these experiences, you'll find that the unknown becomes more familiar and less frightening. Another powerful strategy is to surround yourself with positivity and support. Seek out people who inspire and uplift you, those who have faced the unknown and come out stronger. Their stories and encouragement can be a beacon of light, guiding you through your own journey into uncharted waters. Books, podcasts, and motivational talks can also be invaluable resources. Fill your mind with stories of triumph over fear, of individuals who dared to embrace the unknown and succeeded. Their experiences can serve as powerful reminders that the unknown isn't something to be feared, but rather a stepping stone to greatness. Let's not forget the importance of self-reflection. Take time to understand your fears and where they come from. Often, our fears are rooted in past experiences or negative self-beliefs. By identifying these origins, you can start to dismantle the barriers they create. Journaling is an excellent tool for this, allowing you to explore your thoughts and feelings in a safe, private space. In your journey to embrace the unknown, it's crucial to practice self-compassion. Understand that everyone experiences fear, and it's a natural part of being human. Be kind to yourself as you navigate these uncharted waters. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and forgive yourself for any setbacks. Remember, every step forward, no matter how tiny, is a victory over fear. Visualization is another technique that can help. Picture yourself succeeding in the face of the unknown. Imagine the feeling of triumph, the sense of accomplishment. This mental rehearsal can build your confidence and make the unknown seem more approachable. Now, let's touch on the power of mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness helps you stay present and grounded, reducing the anxiety that often accompanies the unknown. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, and grounding exercises can calm your mind and keep you focused on the present moment, rather than worrying about the future. Embracing the unknown also involves being adaptable and flexible. Life rarely goes according to plan, and being able to adjust and pivot is a crucial skill. See each unexpected twist and turn as a chance to learn and grow. Flexibility enables you to navigate the unknown with grace and confidence. Lastly, always remember the bigger picture. The unknown is a necessary part of life's journey. It's where growth happens, where new opportunities arise. By embracing it, you're not just conquering fear, you're opening yourself up to a world of possibilities. The courage to face the unknown head-on will infuse every aspect of your life with a newfound sense of freedom and empowerment. Embracing the unknown transforms fear into opportunity. By shifting your mindset, taking proactive steps, surrounding yourself with positivity, practicing self-reflection and self-compassion, visualizing success, practicing mindfulness, and remaining adaptable, you can revolutionize your life. Each step into the unknown is a step toward a braver, bolder you. This journey isn't just about conquering fear, it's about discovering the limitless potential within you. Number 2, cultivate a growth mindset. As you begin to embrace the unknown, it's crucial to pair this newfound courage with a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, learning, and perseverance. This mindset is transformative, enabling you to view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. When you see the world through the lens of a growth mindset, fear loses its grip. You start to understand that failure is not a dead end, but a stepping stone to success. Every mistake becomes a valuable lesson, each setback a chance to improve and grow stronger. Imagine a time when you faced a significant challenge. Perhaps it was learning a new skill or overcoming a personal obstacle. Reflect on how you felt at the beginning, uncertain, perhaps even fearful. Now think about the progress you made, the insights you gained. That's the power of a growth mindset. It turns every experience into a potential for growth. Start by recognizing that effort is a critical component of success. Embrace the process of learning and improvement. When you put in the effort, you're actively challenging yourself to grow beyond your current capabilities. This mindset helps you see the value in persistence and hard work, making fear less daunting because you understand that effort leads to progress. Positive self-talk plays a significant role in cultivating a growth mindset. Replace negative, fear-based thoughts with empowering ones. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," reframe it to, "I can learn how to do this." By changing your inner dialogue, you condition your mind to believe in your ability to grow and succeed. Surround yourself with a learning environment. Engage in activities that challenge you intellectually and creatively. Take up new hobbies, enroll in courses, read extensively, and seek out experiences that stretch your capabilities. This constant pursuit of knowledge and growth reinforces the belief that you can evolve and adapt to any situation. Feedback is another critical aspect of developing a growth mindset. Embrace constructive criticism as a tool for improvement. Instead of fearing judgment or taking feedback personally, see it as an opportunity to gain new perspectives and refine your skills. This approach not only reduces fear, but also fosters a continuous cycle of growth and development. Visualization can also reinforce a growth mindset. Picture yourself overcoming challenges, learning from your mistakes, and emerging stronger. Visualizing your success can boost your confidence and make the journey toward growth more tangible and attainable. In your journey, it's essential to set realistic, achievable goals. Break down larger objectives into smaller, manageable steps. This not only makes the process less overwhelming, but also allows you to celebrate small victories along the way. Each achievement, no matter how minor, reinforces the belief that growth is possible and that you're moving in the right direction. Developing a growth mindset also involves embracing a sense of curiosity. Approach life with a desire to learn and explore. Ask questions, seek out new experiences, and remain open to different viewpoints. This curiosity drives you to push past your comfort zone and discover new horizons, making fear a catalyst for exploration rather than a barrier. Another powerful tool is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to keep going in the face of challenges. By cultivating resilience, you build the mental and emotional strength needed to navigate fear and uncertainty. Resilience is developed through experience, reflection, and a commitment to keep trying, no matter the obstacles. It's also helpful to adopt a long-term perspective. Understand that growth is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, successes and failures. Embrace this journey with patience and perseverance, knowing that each step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward your ultimate goals. A growth mindset encourages you to take risks and step out of your comfort zone. It's about embracing challenges with enthusiasm and seeing them as opportunities to stretch your limits. When you cultivate this mindset, fear becomes a natural part of the process of learning and growth, something to be managed and learned from rather than avoided. Community support can be invaluable on this journey. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who encourage growth and provide support. Join groups or communities that foster learning and personal development. Sharing your experiences and learning from others can create a powerful network of support and motivation. Incorporating mindfulness practices can also enhance your growth mindset. Mindfulness helps you stay present and focused, reducing anxiety about the future and regrets about the past. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, and mindful journaling can help you remain grounded and resilient as you navigate challenges. In essence, cultivating a growth mindset is about embracing a lifelong journey of learning and development. It's about seeing every challenge as an opportunity, every setback as a lesson. By adopting this mindset, you transform fear into a driving force for growth and achievement. This journey isn't just about overcoming fear, it's about unlocking your full potential and embracing the limitless possibilities that life has to offer. Number 3. Practice self-compassion. As you cultivate a growth mindset and begin to embrace the unknown, it's essential to practice self-compassion. Self-compassion is the act of being kind and understanding to yourself in moments of failure, inadequacy, or suffering. It's about treating yourself with the same care and kindness that you would offer to a friend in need. Imagine you're on a challenging journey, encountering obstacles and setbacks along the way. Instead of berating yourself for every misstep, imagine offering yourself words of encouragement and support. This is the essence of self-compassion. It's a powerful tool that helps you navigate fear and uncertainty with grace and resilience. The first step in practicing self-compassion is to acknowledge your feelings without judgment. When you face a difficult situation, Take a moment to recognize your emotions. It's okay to feel scared, anxious, or overwhelmed. These feelings are a natural part of the human experience. By acknowledging them, you're not giving them power, but rather giving yourself permission to feel and process them. Next, speak to yourself kindly. Replace harsh self-criticism with gentle, supportive language. For example, if you make a mistake, instead of thinking, "I'm so stupid," try saying, "It's okay to make mistakes. I'm learning and growing." This shift in self-talk can significantly impact your emotional well-being and your ability to handle fear and failure. Self-compassion also involves recognizing that you're not alone in your struggles. Everyone faces difficulties and setbacks. When you realize that suffering is a universal experience, it can help you feel less isolated and more connected to others. This sense of common humanity can provide comfort and strength during tough times. Mindfulness is a crucial component of self-compassion. It involves being present with your feelings and experiences without getting lost in them. Mindfulness helps you observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing you to respond to them with kindness and understanding. Practicing mindfulness through meditation, deep breathing, or mindful journaling can help you stay grounded and compassionate towards yourself. Another aspect of self-compassion is self-care. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being is essential for building resilience and managing fear. Engage in activities that nourish your body and soul, such as exercise, healthy eating, spending time in nature, or pursuing hobbies you love. Prioritizing self-care sends a powerful message to yourself that you are worthy of love and care. Setting healthy boundaries is also a part of self-compassion. Learn to say no to things that drain your energy or compromise your well-being. Protecting your time and energy allows you to focus on what truly matters and reduces stress and burnout. Boundaries are not about being selfish. They are about respecting and honoring your own needs. Forgiveness plays a significant role in self-compassion. Forgive yourself for past mistakes and shortcomings. Holding on to guilt and shame only perpetuates fear and self-doubt. Understand that everyone makes mistakes, and these mistakes are opportunities for growth and learning. By forgiving yourself, you free yourself from the burden of the past and open the door to new possibilities. Seek support from others when needed. Sometimes, practicing self-compassion means reaching out for help, whether it's talking to a trusted friend, seeking professional counseling, or joining a support group. Connecting with others can provide comfort and perspective. You don't have to face your fears alone. There is strength in seeking support. Cultivating gratitude can also enhance self-compassion. Take time each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. It fosters a positive outlook and helps you appreciate the progress you're making, no matter how small. Engaging in acts of kindness towards others can also boost your self-compassion. When you extend compassion and kindness to others, it often reflects back to you. Helping others in their times of need can remind you of your own capacity for empathy and care, reinforcing your ability to be kind to yourself. Lastly, remember that self-compassion is an ongoing practice. It's not something you achieve overnight, but rather a continuous journey. Be patient with yourself as you learn to embrace this practice. Each step you take towards self-compassion strengthens your ability to face fear and adversity with courage and resilience. Practicing self-compassion is a transformative act that enables you to navigate fear and uncertainty with kindness and understanding. By acknowledging your feelings, speaking kindly to yourself, recognizing common humanity, practicing mindfulness, engaging in self-care, setting boundaries, forgiving yourself, seeking support, cultivating gratitude, and extending kindness to others, you build a strong foundation of self-compassion. This practice not only helps you manage fear, but also empowers you to live a more fulfilling and fearless life. Number 4, harness the power of visualization. As you deepen your practice of self-compassion, another powerful tool awaits: visualization. Visualization is the process of creating mental images of desired outcomes or experiences. This technique can significantly impact your ability to overcome fear and achieve your goals by leveraging the power of your mind to influence reality. Imagine an athlete preparing for a major competition. They often visualize themselves performing at their best, seeing every move, feeling every sensation. This mental rehearsal helps them build confidence and reduce anxiety. Similarly, you can use visualization to conquer fear and transform your life. Start by identifying your goals and the areas where fear holds you back. Maybe it's speaking in public, starting a new venture, or pursuing a personal dream. Whatever it is, begin by creating a clear, detailed image of your success. Picture yourself in that moment of achievement. See the surroundings, hear the sounds, and feel the emotions associated with your success. When you visualize, engage all your senses. The more vivid and detailed your mental images, the more effective the visualization. Imagine the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures associated with your goal. This multi-sensory approach makes the experience more real and convincing to your mind. Incorporate positive emotions into your visualization. Feel the excitement, joy, and pride that come with achieving your goals. These emotions enhance the impact of your visualization, making it more powerful and motivating. The emotional connection helps you stay committed and resilient in the face of challenges. Practice visualization regularly. Set aside time each day to visualize your goals and successes. Consistency is key to reinforcing the mental images and strengthening your belief in their possibility. Whether it's in the morning, before bed, or during a quiet moment in your day, make visualization a part of your routine. Use visualization to prepare for specific events or challenges. If you have a presentation coming up, visualize yourself speaking confidently and engaging your audience. If you're facing a difficult conversation, imagine yourself handling it with grace and poise. This preparation reduces anxiety and boosts your confidence, helping you perform at your best. Combine visualization with affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that reinforce your goals and beliefs. As you visualize your success, repeat affirmations that support your vision. For example, I am confident and capable, or I achieve my goals with ease. This combination strengthens the mental and emotional foundation for your success. Incorporate visualization into your physical environment. Create vision boards or place reminders of your goals where you can see them daily. These visual cues reinforce your mental images and keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. They serve as constant reminders of what you're working towards and help you stay focused and motivated. Visualization can also help you overcome fear by desensitizing you to the situations that trigger it. If a particular scenario scares you, visualize yourself handling it successfully. Repeat this process until the fear diminishes and you feel more comfortable facing it in reality. This gradual exposure helps rewire your brain, reducing fear and building confidence. Engage in guided visualizations. There are numerous resources available, including apps, videos, and audio recordings that offer guided visualization exercises. These can provide structure and support, especially if you're new to the practice. Guided visualizations can help you focus and deepen your experience, making the process more effective. Visualization isn't just about imagining the end result. It's also about visualizing the steps needed to get there. Break down your goals into actionable steps and visualize yourself successfully completing each one. This approach helps you create a roadmap to your goals and makes the journey feel more manageable and achievable. Reflect on your visualizations and adjust them as needed. As you progress and gain new insights, your goals and the steps to achieve them may evolve. Regularly review and update your visualizations to ensure they remain aligned with your aspirations and current reality. This flexibility keeps your visualization practice relevant and impactful. Share your visualization practice with others. Discussing your goals and visualizations with supportive friends, family, or mentors can provide additional encouragement and accountability. They can offer insights, celebrate your progress, and help you stay motivated. In essence, harnessing the power of visualization is about using the mind's eye to shape your reality. By creating detailed, positive mental images of your goals and successes, engaging your senses, incorporating emotions and affirmations, practicing regularly, using visual cues, engaging in guided visualizations, breaking down your goals, reflecting and adjusting, and sharing your practice, you build a powerful tool for overcoming fear and achieving your dreams. Visualization transforms abstract aspirations into tangible, achievable realities, paving the way for a fearless, fulfilled life. Number 5. Build a resilient mindset. As you harness the power of visualization, it's essential to develop a resilient mindset to support your journey. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, adapt to change, and keep going in the face of adversity. This quality is crucial for overcoming fear and achieving long-term success. Think of resilience as a mental muscle that can be strengthened with practice. When faced with challenges, instead of seeing them as insurmountable obstacles, view them as opportunities to grow and learn. This shift in perspective is the foundation of a resilient mindset. Begin by embracing the idea that setbacks are a natural part of the journey. No path to success is without its bumps and detours. Accepting this reality can reduce the fear of failure and make you more willing to take risks. When you encounter difficulties, remind yourself that they are temporary and that you have the strength to overcome them. Focus on what you can control. In challenging situations, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by factors beyond your control. Redirect your energy towards the aspects you can influence. This proactive approach empowers you to take action and make positive changes rather than feeling helpless or stuck. Develop a problem-solving attitude. When faced with a challenge, break it down into smaller, manageable parts. Identify possible solutions and take one step at a time. This methodical approach makes problems seem less daunting and increases your ability to handle them effectively. Cultivate optimism. A positive outlook doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but rather focusing on the potential for a positive outcome. Optimism fuels resilience by helping you see the possibilities and opportunities in every situation. Practice gratitude and look for silver linings, even in tough times. This mindset can boost your morale and keep you moving forward. Strengthen your support network. Surround yourself with people who encourage and uplift you. Having a strong support system can provide emotional and practical assistance during challenging times. Share your experiences and seek advice from those you trust. Knowing you're not alone can bolster your resilience and reduce feelings of fear and isolation. Engage in regular self-care. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health is crucial for maintaining resilience. Exercise, a balanced diet, sufficient sleep, and mindfulness practices like meditation can all contribute to your overall well-being. When you're physically and mentally healthy, you're better equipped to handle stress and bounce back from setbacks. Practice adaptability. Life is full of unexpected changes, and the ability to adapt is a key component of resilience. Embrace flexibility and be open to new approaches and solutions. Instead of resisting change, see it as an opportunity to innovate and grow. Adaptability helps you stay resilient in the face of uncertainty and shifts in your plans. Learn from past experiences. Reflect on previous challenges and how you overcame them. Identify the strategies and strengths that helped you succeed. This reflection not only boosts your confidence, but also provides valuable lessons for future obstacles. Knowing that you've successfully navigated difficulties before can give you the courage to face new ones. Set realistic goals. While it's important to aim high, setting attainable goals ensures steady progress and reduces the risk of feeling overwhelmed. Break larger objectives into smaller milestones and celebrate each achievement. This approach maintains motivation and builds a sense of accomplishment, which are vital for resilience. Develop emotional intelligence. Understanding and managing your emotions is crucial for resilience. Practice self-awareness to recognize your emotional responses and develop strategies to cope with them. Techniques such as deep breathing, journaling, or talking to a trusted friend can help you process emotions effectively and maintain emotional balance. Stay committed to personal growth. Continuously seek opportunities to learn and improve. Attend workshops, read books, and engage in activities that challenge you. This commitment to self-improvement keeps you focused on your goals and builds your resilience over time. Embrace lifelong learning as a way to adapt to changes and overcome obstacles. Recognize and celebrate your strengths. Acknowledging your strengths and achievements boosts your self-esteem and reinforces a positive self-image. This recognition can provide a foundation of confidence that supports resilience. When you believe in your abilities, you're more likely to face challenges with a determined and fearless attitude. Incorporate humor and playfulness into your life. Laughter and a light-hearted approach can diffuse tension and provide a mental break from stress. Humor allows you to see situations from a different perspective and can make challenges seem more manageable. Finding joy in small moments can sustain your resilience and keep your spirit uplifted. Building a resilient mindset is essential for overcoming fear and achieving lasting success. By accepting setbacks as part of the journey, focusing on controllable factors, developing a problem-solving attitude, cultivating optimism, strengthening your support network, engaging in self-care, practicing adaptability, learning from past experiences, setting realistic goals, developing emotional intelligence, committing to personal growth, recognizing your strengths, and incorporating humor, you create a robust foundation for resilience. This mindset not only helps you navigate life's challenges, but also empowers you to pursue your dreams with unwavering confidence and courage. Number 6. Embrace vulnerability. As you build a resilient mindset, it's equally important to embrace vulnerability. Vulnerability often gets a bad rap, seen as a sign of weakness or exposure to harm. However, in reality, vulnerability is a profound source of strength and courage. Embracing it allows you to live more authentically, connect deeply with others, and ultimately overcome fear. Consider the moments when you felt most alive and connected. They likely involved being open, honest, and vulnerable. Whether it's expressing your true feelings, sharing your dreams, or admitting mistakes, these moments create genuine connections and foster personal growth. Begin by redefining vulnerability. Instead of seeing it as a liability, view it as a courageous act of openness. Embracing vulnerability means allowing yourself to be seen, imperfections and all. It's about being honest about your fears, hopes, and dreams, without the need to hide behind a facade of invincibility. Recognize that vulnerability is a universal human experience. Everyone has fears, insecurities, and moments of doubt. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're not alone in your experience. This shared humanity can be incredibly freeing and can help reduce the fear of judgment. Start small by sharing your thoughts and feelings with trusted individuals. It could be a close friend, a family member, or a mentor. Choose someone who will listen without judgment and offer support. This initial step helps build your confidence in being open and honest about your vulnerabilities. Practice self-awareness to understand your vulnerabilities. Reflect on what makes you feel exposed or fearful. Is it the fear of rejection, failure, or not being good enough? Identifying these areas can help you address and embrace them more effectively. Understanding your triggers is the first step towards transforming vulnerability into a source of strength. Cultivate a safe environment for vulnerability. Create spaces in your personal and professional life where openness is encouraged and respected. Foster relationships that prioritize trust, empathy, and mutual support. A supportive environment makes it easier to be vulnerable and reduces the fear of negative repercussions. Engage in activities that require vulnerability. Public speaking, creative pursuits, and new challenges often push you out of your comfort zone and expose your true self. Embrace these opportunities as they come. Each time you step into a vulnerable situation, you build your resilience and reduce the power of fear over your life. Learn to accept and embrace your imperfections. No one is perfect, and striving for perfection only fuels fear and insecurity. Instead, focus on your strengths and acknowledge your weaknesses without judgment. Embracing your imperfections makes you more relatable and authentic, fostering deeper connections with others. Seek feedback from others. Constructive feedback helps you grow and improve. It requires vulnerability to ask for and accept feedback, especially when it highlights areas for improvement. However, this openness to learning and growth is a hallmark of true strength and courage. Embrace feedback as a valuable tool for personal development. Understand that vulnerability can lead to innovation and creativity. When you allow yourself to take risks and be open to new ideas, you unlock your creative potential. Innovation often requires stepping into the unknown and being willing to fail. Embracing vulnerability fuels creativity by allowing you to explore new possibilities without fear of judgment. Incorporate mindfulness into your practice of vulnerability. Mindfulness helps you stay present and grounded, reducing anxiety about exposing your true self. Techniques such as meditation and deep breathing can calm your mind and create a sense of inner peace. This state of calm makes it easier to embrace vulnerability and face fears head-on. Celebrate your moments of vulnerability. Reflect on times when you were open and honest about your feelings, fears, or dreams. Acknowledge the courage it took to be vulnerable and the positive outcomes that resulted. Celebrating these moments reinforces the belief that vulnerability is a strength and encourages you to continue embracing it. Use vulnerability to build deeper connections with others. When you share your true self, you invite others to do the same. This mutual openness fosters trust, empathy, and intimacy in relationships. By being vulnerable, you create a space where others feel safe to express themselves, leading to more meaningful and supportive connections. Practice gratitude for the courage it takes to be vulnerable. Recognize the bravery involved in exposing your true self and the growth that comes from it. Gratitude helps you appreciate your journey and the strength you gain from embracing vulnerability. It shifts your focus from fear to the positive aspects of being open and authentic. In essence, embracing vulnerability is about recognizing it as a powerful source of strength and courage. By redefining vulnerability, sharing your true self with trusted individuals, practicing self-awareness, cultivating safe environments, engaging in vulnerable activities, accepting imperfections, seeking feedback, fostering creativity, incorporating mindfulness, celebrating vulnerability, building deeper connections, and practicing gratitude, you transform vulnerability into a tool for overcoming fear and achieving personal growth. This journey towards vulnerability empowers you to live more authentically, connect deeply with others, and face life's challenges with unwavering confidence. Number 7. Cultivate strong relationships. As you embrace vulnerability, it's essential to cultivate strong relationships that support and nurture your journey. Meaningful connections with others can be a powerful antidote to fear, providing a foundation of trust, encouragement, and mutual growth. Building strong relationships helps you navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and confidence. Start by fostering genuine connections. Authentic relationships are built on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. Be open about your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Share your joys and struggles, and encourage others to do the same. This level of openness creates a bond that goes beyond superficial interactions, providing a deep sense of support and understanding. Invest time and effort into your relationships. Just like any valuable endeavor, relationships require nurturing and commitment. Make time for the people who matter to you. Schedule regular catch-ups, be present in conversations, and show genuine interest in their lives. Your efforts will strengthen the bond and ensure that the relationship remains a source of support. Practice active listening. Listening is a powerful way to show that you value and care about someone. When others speak, give them your full attention. Avoid interrupting or thinking about your response while they're talking. Instead, focus on understanding their perspective. Active listening fosters trust and respect, making the other person feel heard and valued. Show empathy and compassion. Try to understand things from the other person's perspective. When they face difficulties, offer a listening ear and a supportive presence. Empathy deepens your connection and builds a foundation of mutual care. It also encourages others to be there for you when you need support. Communicate effectively. Clear and honest communication is vital for strong relationships. Express your needs, boundaries, and feelings openly and respectfully. Encourage others to do the same. Effective communication prevents misunderstandings and conflicts, fostering a harmonious and supportive environment. Be dependable and trustworthy. Reliability is a cornerstone of strong relationships. Follow through on your commitments and be someone others can count on. Trust is built over time through consistent actions. When others know they can rely on you, it strengthens the bond and reduces the fear of being let down. Support each other's growth. Encourage the people in your life to pursue their goals and dreams. Celebrate their successes and offer a helping hand during challenges. By supporting each other's growth, you create a dynamic where everyone feels motivated and empowered. This mutual encouragement reduces fear and fosters a sense of shared purpose. Practice forgiveness and understanding. No relationship is without its challenges. When conflicts arise, approach them with a mindset of understanding and forgiveness. Holding on to grudges or harboring resentment only weakens the bond. By resolving conflicts with empathy and compassion, you strengthen the relationship and build a resilient connection. Celebrate together. Sharing moments of joy and celebration enhances your bond. Whether it's a personal achievement, a special occasion, or simply a fun outing, these shared experiences create positive memories and reinforce your connection. Celebrating together reminds you of the joy and support that the relationship brings into your life. Learn from each other. Every person you connect with has unique experiences and insights. Be open to learning from them. Whether it's a new perspective, a skill, or a piece of wisdom, these learnings enrich your life and broaden your horizons. This mutual exchange of knowledge and experiences strengthens the relationship and fosters growth. Show appreciation and gratitude. Regularly express your appreciation for the people in your life. Acknowledge their efforts, kindness, and the positive impact they have on you. Gratitude strengthens the bond and creates a positive dynamic in the relationship. It also reinforces the value you place on the connection, making both parties feel appreciated and valued. Engage in shared activities. Participating in activities you both enjoy can deepen your connection. Whether it's a hobby, a project, or a cause you're passionate about, shared activities provide a platform for bonding and collaboration. They create opportunities for meaningful interactions and reinforce the sense of togetherness. Respect individuality. While cultivating strong relationships, it's important to respect each other's individuality. Encourage each person to maintain their unique identity and pursue their interests. This respect for individuality prevents codependency and ensures that the relationship is a source of support rather than constraint. Incorporate humor and fun. Laughter is a powerful connector. It lightens the mood, eases tension, and creates enjoyable shared experiences. Incorporate humor and playfulness into your interactions. Shared laughter strengthens your bond and makes the relationship a source of joy and positivity. Cultivating strong relationships is a vital aspect of overcoming fear and achieving personal growth. By fostering genuine connections, investing time and effort, practicing active listening, showing empathy and compassion, communicating effectively, being dependable, supporting each other's growth, practicing forgiveness, celebrating together, learning from each other, showing appreciation, engaging in shared activities, respecting individuality, and incorporating humor, you build a network of support and encouragement. These strong relationships provide a foundation of trust and mutual care, empowering you to face life's challenges with confidence and resilience. Number 8. Take decisive action. With strong relationships providing a supportive foundation, it's time to focus on taking decisive action. Action is the antidote to fear. When you move forward despite uncertainty, you transform potential into reality and build the confidence needed to tackle future challenges. Consider the moments when you've felt stuck or paralyzed by fear. Often, it's the indecision that magnifies the anxiety. Taking action, no matter how small, can break this cycle. Action propels you forward, diminishes fear, and creates momentum. Start by setting clear goals. Define what you want to achieve and break it down into manageable steps. Clear goals provide direction and make the process less overwhelming. When you know what you're working towards, it's easier to take the necessary actions to get there. Prioritize your tasks. Not all actions are created equal. Identify the most critical steps that will bring you closer to your goals and focus on those first. This prioritization ensures that you're using your time and energy effectively, making progress even when resources are limited. Adopt a proactive mindset. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment or circumstances, take the initiative. Conditions are rarely ideal, and waiting only prolongs inaction. Embrace the mindset of doing what you can with what you have, right where you are. This proactive approach keeps you moving forward, even in the face of uncertainty. Face your fears head-on. Identify the specific fears that are holding you back and tackle them directly. If you're afraid of public speaking, start by speaking in front of small groups. If you fear failure, take calculated risks to build your tolerance. Facing your fears reduces their power over you and builds your confidence. Embrace the concept of failing forward. Understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of the journey toward it. Each setback provides valuable lessons and insights. By viewing failure as a stepping stone, you reduce its emotional impact and use it to propel yourself forward. Use the power of habit. Consistent small actions can lead to significant results over time. Establishing daily habits that align with your goals creates a structure for continuous progress. Whether it's dedicating time to skill development, networking, or self-improvement, these habits build a foundation for success. Celebrate your progress. Acknowledge and celebrate the milestones you achieve along the way. Recognizing your progress, no matter how small, reinforces positive behavior and keeps you motivated. Celebrations provide a sense of accomplishment and remind you that your efforts are leading to tangible results. Seek accountability. Share your goals and plans with trusted individuals who can hold you accountable. Regular check-ins and progress updates can provide the external motivation needed to stay on track. Accountability partners can offer support, encouragement, and constructive feedback. Stay flexible and adaptable. While it's important to have a plan, be open to adjusting it as needed. Life is unpredictable, and rigid adherence to a plan can lead to frustration. Flexibility allows you to adapt to changing circumstances and find new pathways to achieve your goals. Take care of your mental and physical well-being. Decisive action requires energy and focus. Ensure that you're taking care of your body and mind through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and stress management. A healthy lifestyle supports sustained action and enhances your ability to handle challenges. Use visualization as a tool for action. Visualize yourself successfully completing tasks and achieving your goals. This mental rehearsal prepares your mind for action and increases your confidence. When you can see yourself succeeding, it becomes easier to take the steps necessary to make it a reality. Break out of your comfort zone. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. Challenge yourself to try new things and take risks. Each time you step beyond your familiar boundaries, you expand your capabilities and reduce the grip of fear. Embrace discomfort as a sign that you're growing and progressing. Reflect and learn. After taking action, reflect on the outcomes and what you've learned. This reflection helps you understand what works and what needs adjustment. Continuous learning and adaptation refine your approach and improve your chances of success. In essence, taking decisive action is about transforming fear into progress. By setting clear goals, prioritizing tasks, adopting a proactive mindset, facing fears directly, embracing failure as part of the process, establishing habits, celebrating progress, seeking accountability, staying flexible, maintaining well-being, visualizing success, stepping out of your comfort zone, and reflecting on outcomes, you build momentum and confidence. Decisive action not only diminishes fear, but also brings your aspirations to life, empowering you to achieve your dreams and live fearlessly. Number 9. Live with purpose. As you embrace decisive action, it's crucial to anchor your efforts in a sense of purpose. Living with purpose provides direction, motivation, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Purpose is the guiding star that helps you navigate life's challenges and stay focused on what truly matters. Reflect on what gives your life meaning. Consider your passions, values, and the impact you want to have on the world. Purpose often stems from the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs. Take time to explore these aspects of yourself and identify what drives you. Set meaningful goals that align with your purpose. When your actions are tied to a greater sense of purpose, they become more impactful and rewarding. Purpose-driven goals inspire commitment and perseverance, even in the face of obstacles. They provide a clear reason for your efforts, making it easier to stay motivated and resilient. Create a personal mission statement. A mission statement articulates your purpose and serves as a constant reminder of what you aim to achieve. It can be as simple as a few sentences that encapsulate your core values and aspirations. Keep it visible and refer to it regularly to stay aligned with your purpose. Engage in activities that reflect your purpose. Dedicate time to pursuits that resonate with your core values and passions. Whether it's volunteering, creative projects, or professional endeavors, engaging in purpose-driven activities enriches your life and reinforces your commitment to living with intention. Build a life that reflects your purpose. Align your daily routines, relationships, and work with your overarching purpose. This alignment ensures that every aspect of your life contributes to your sense of fulfillment and joy. When your actions are consistent with your values and purpose, you create a cohesive and meaningful life experience. Share your purpose with others. Communicate your goals and aspirations with your support network. Sharing your purpose can inspire others and create opportunities for collaboration and mutual support. It also holds you accountable to your commitments and reinforces your resolve to live purposefully. Embrace challenges as part of your purpose journey. Understand that difficulties and setbacks are inherent in any meaningful pursuit. Instead of viewing them as obstacles, see them as opportunities for growth and learning. Challenges test your commitment and resilience, deepening your connection to your purpose. Reflect regularly on your progress and purpose. Take time to review your goals, achievements, and the alignment of your actions with your purpose. Reflection helps you stay connected to your mission and make necessary adjustments. It also provides a sense of accomplishment and clarity on your path forward. Seek inspiration from purpose-driven individuals. Surround yourself with people who are passionate about their goals and purpose. Their stories and experiences can offer valuable insights and motivation. Learning from others who live with purpose reinforces your own commitment and provides a sense of community. Balance purpose with flexibility. While having a clear purpose is essential, it's also important to remain adaptable. Life is dynamic, and your purpose may evolve over time. Be open to redefining your goals and adjusting your path as needed. Flexibility ensures that your purpose remains relevant and meaningful. Find joy in the journey. Living with purpose is not just about achieving end goals, but also about finding fulfillment in the process. Celebrate the small victories and savor the experiences along the way. Purpose brings richness to your everyday life, making each moment meaningful and rewarding. Use purpose to guide your decisions. When faced with choices, consider how they align with your purpose. Let your purpose serve as a compass, helping you make decisions that are true to your values and long-term goals. This alignment ensures that your actions are consistent and directed toward your overarching mission. Practice gratitude for your purpose. Acknowledge and appreciate the clarity and direction that purpose brings to your life. Gratitude enhances your sense of fulfillment and reinforces your commitment to living intentionally. It helps you stay focused on the positive aspects of your journey and the impact you're making. In essence, living with purpose infuses your life with direction, meaning, and fulfillment. By reflecting on what gives your life meaning, setting purpose-driven goals, creating a mission statement, engaging in aligned activities, building a cohesive life, sharing your purpose, embracing challenges, reflecting regularly, seeking inspiration, balancing flexibility, finding joy in the journey, using purpose to guide decisions, and practicing gratitude, you create a life that is not only fearless but profoundly impactful. Purpose provides the foundation and motivation to pursue your dreams with unwavering confidence, making your journey both meaningful and rewarding. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey. By embracing the unknown, cultivating a growth mindset, practicing self-compassion, harnessing the power of visualization, building resilience, embracing vulnerability, cultivating strong relationships, taking decisive action, and living with purpose, you now have the tools to revolutionize your life with fearlessness. We hope these insights inspire you to step boldly into your future and pursue your dreams with unwavering confidence. Remember, the journey to a fearless life is continuous and ever-evolving. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a victory over fear and a move toward a more empowered, fulfilling life. Before you go, we'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you the most? What steps are you excited to take on your journey to fearlessness? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights might just inspire someone else on their path. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Join our community for more inspiring content and practical tips to help you live your best life. Click the subscribe button and be a part of our journey towards a fearless, purposeful future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, live fearlessly and with purpose. Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, the man known to history as Emperor City Antoninus, was born on April 26, 121 AD in Rome, the capital of the Roman Empire. She was born to Praetor Marcus Annius Verus and Domitia Calvilla during the Pax Romana, a time when the empire was mostly peaceful and stable. He was known as Marcus Catilius Severus at this time, a name that came from his mother's side of the family. His father was from Spain and was part of the Annius clan. As a noble in Rome's politics, he rose to the rank of praetor. With this title, you could do executive and legal work, but you weren't as high as a consul. Marcus was praetor when he passed away in 124 AD. As he had not yet been made consul, which required a minimum age of 32, he died before he was fully grown. The cause of his death, however, is not known. His mother, Domitia, was from a wealthy noble family with a successful political past. Her father, Calvisius Tullus, had served as president for 2 terms. Domitia went into the building boom of Rome with a lot of money that she got from her mother, who owned a big, successful tile and brickworks on the edges of the city. Following the death of her husband, Domitia never got married again. Following what was common for Roman nobles at the time, Marcus was given to a wet nurse soon after he was born. This was something that the famous historian Tacitus strongly opposed. It's not known for sure, but Marcus's mother had his sister, Annia Cornificia Faustina, a year or 2 after Marcus was born. Marcus's mother and biological grandfather, who was also named Marcus Annius Verus, raised him. They raised him as their own child. Because his grandfather wanted to make things happen, the Emperor Vespasian recognized the Annius clan and made them part of the noble class sometime between 69 and 79 AD. Marcus later wrote about his grandfather in his Meditations. "From my grandfather Verus, I learned decency and a mild temper." Marcus spent his early years living with his parents and grandfather on the Caelian Hill, which is one of Rome's 7 hills and a wealthy area with views of the city to the north. The area was home to grand buildings like the Lateran Palace and the barracks of the Equites Singulares, or Imperial Horse Guards. He was also raised by his maternal great-grandfather, who may have been his step-great-grandfather, Lucius Catilius Severus. Marcus is thought to have had the most touch with him, even though nurses took care of, as well as the processions that went along with them. As Marcus did his job as a priest, He moved up the ranks and became a priest himself. It was during this time that an omen about his future rule is said to have happened. When the other priests threw their crowns on the god's couch, as was the custom, Marcus's crown fell on Mars's forehead, as if he had put it there himself, while the others fell in different places. Marcus would start to learn Latin from Trossius Aper, Pollio, and Eutychius Proculus when he was 11 or 12 years old. He would learn music and math from Andron, and language from the Greek Alexander of Cotyaium. The Emperor Hadrian called him Verissimus, or truest, for his dedication and serious attitude to his studies. Another teacher, Diognetus the painting master, is likely to have been the first person to teach Marcus philosophy. Marcus would later write about him and how he influenced him in his meditations. Marcus was so affected by this way of thinking that when he was 12 years old, he was eager to embrace the simple life of a philosopher and wore a rough Greek cloak and slept on the floor. However, his mother stopped him, and he reluctantly agreed to sleep on skins. At this early stage, it looks like he was trying to follow the strict Cynic philosophy. Marcus put on the toga virilis, or dress of manhood, when he was 14 years old, most likely during the Liberalia holiday in 136 AD. He then became a man of the empire. As soon as he got the toga virilis, he would put on the plain white toga that men wear and take off the charm that he had worn around his neck since he was a child, and got from his father during the ceremony 9 days after he was born to make him pure. He would now drop the name Catilius Severus and take the name Annius Verus, which is his family name. Taking this step toward manhood made him a full citizen, ready to participate in public life even though he was still in school. Some time after Marcus put on the toga virilis, Hadrian, who was often away from Rome, became interested in him and told Marcus that he wanted him to marry Saeonia Fabia, who was Lucius Saeonius Commodus's daughter. In 136 AD, Saeonius was a consul in office, and it is possible that he was the one who made Marcus an honored prefect of Rome during the Latin holiday. Albano was the site of this festival, which was outside of Rome. Because consuls had to be in the city to do their official work, Marcus was made governor to take over these tasks so the consul could be away for the festival. Marcus was very polite and civil when he was with judges and at Hadrian's dinners, even though he was old. Marcus would meet Apollonius of Chalcedon, who used to teach Saeonius and was a famous Stoic philosopher at the time, through his new link with Saeonius. This is also around the time that Marcus's sister married Umidius Quadratus. Marcus's mother asked him to let his sister take a part of the inheritance his father had left him, and Marcus not only agreed, but he also said he was happy for her to take the entire inheritance and also get the full share of her mother's estate, so that Annia wouldn't be poorer than her husband. Marcus, whose mother had clearly kept him from being greedy, said he was happy with his grandfather's wealth while he was still alive. Hadrian suffered a hemorrhage and almost died in the last few months of 136 AD, which brought the issue of empire success to the forefront. Hadrian didn't have any children, so he had to pick someone to take his place as emperor. He made up his mind and officially took Caionius in as his own, giving him the name Aelius Caesar. Many people thought this was an odd choice, and because Hadrian had a history with Antinous, he may have done it because he liked the man rather than because he was good. Avidius Nigrinus, on the other hand, was put to death by Hadrian in 118 AD for what seemed to be his part in a plot to kill the new emperor. Nigrinus might have become Hadrian's son if he had lived, and since Saeonius married Nigrinus's daughter, it's possible that this was Hadrian's way of making up for his previous actions. But it seems more likely that Hadrian picked Saeonius because of his background and ties. Marcus's well-known family also helped him. The problem was solved, but not without killing. Hadrian told the other people who were trying to be his son to kill themselves. They were Servianus, Hadrian's brother-in-law who was 90 years old, and Pedanius Fuscus Salinator, Hadrian's grandson. While Servianus did what was asked of him, he later said in public that he was innocent and cursed Hadrian, saying, "May he long for death but be unable to die," before he killed himself. Seonius' success was not to be, however. Hadrian decided that Seonius should go on a tour of military service because the council didn't like this choice and because he had made a bad impression from the start. Seonius was sent to Carnuntum, which is near the Danube, with proconsular power over the Pannonian provinces, to calm down the groups that were fighting with each other and win them back over to Rome. It was a short tour, and Seonius returned to Rome in the winter of 137 AD, and was set to make a speech to the Senate on the first day of 138 AD. However, not long after returning home, he fell ill and passed away later that same day, on January 1st, 138 AD, most likely from tuberculosis. It was time to talk about succession again, but this time Servianus's curse seemed to have come true. Hadrian was sick with dropsy and had to deal with the same problem again that had been solved 2 years before. He called a meeting of the Concilium on his 62nd birthday, January 24th, to settle the question of succession. This was after a few weeks of stress. After that, Hadrian chose Aurelius Antoninus to be his son. Antoninus would have to adopt Seonius's son Lucius and his married nephew Marcus in order to become a parent. But just like when Seonius was adopted, when Antoninus was adopted, it made people feel bad. Antoninus didn't have as much experience or status as other people in his time, and it was said that his adoption caused pain to many, including Marcus's great-grandfather L. Antoninus and Catilius Severus both served as consul in 120 AD, but Catilius Severus was older and had been in office longer. Severus was discovered to have his own plans in place to ensure his success. Eventually, he was taken from office and replaced by a nobleman who wasn't very important in Rome's political life. Antoninus was officially adopted on February 25th, the same day that Marcus and Lucius were also adopted. Marcus Aelius Aurelius Verus and Lucius Aelius Aurelius Commodus were their names at that time. Hadrian asked Antoninus to marry his daughter Faustina to Lucius, which strengthened the family ties even more. Marcus was said to have been shocked when he found out he had been adopted into the imperial family. This may have been because he was quiet, not greedy, and had been influenced by philosophy from a young age. He moved from his childhood home on the Caelian to a private house owned by Hadrian with a lot of reluctance. In the spring, plans were made for Marcus to become a real member of society when he was given the job of quaestor for the following year, 139 AD, along with Antoninus, who would be consul for the second time. It wouldn't have been rare for a child to hold office, but Marcus was only 17 years old when the minimum age to be a quaestor was 24. Hadrian stepped in and asked that Marcus not have to follow this rule. Marcus, however, was unfazed by the change and continued to be the kind and thoughtful young man he had been in his formative years, despite being raised not only in the political realm, but also into the royal family. Hadrian's health was getting worse, though, and he tried to kill himself several times. As his health got worse, he became angry and ended up moving to Baiae on the coast of Campania. Antoninus was given charge of Rome, but soon after, Hadrian asked him to go to Baiae because he was close to death. He died on July 10th, 138 AD, with Antoninus by his side. Following Hadrian's death, Antoninus was responsible for planning the private funeral. Marcus was in charge of reporting the emperor's death in public, probably organizing the public funeral, and organizing gladiator fights on his own initiative in honor of Hadrian. Marcus's aunt Faustina told him that he should break off his engagement to Saonia Fabia and instead agree to marry Faustina the younger, who is the daughter of Antoninus and Faustina and is much younger than Marcus, Claudia Fabia. For this to happen, her engagement to Lucius would have to end. Marcus agreed, but because Faustina was too young, they wouldn't get married until 145 AD. Later, in 138 AD, Antoninus would fight against the Senate to have Hadrian made a god. Although a large portion of the ruling class opposed this, Antoninus was successful in getting the motion passed, which also secured his own position. His actions in easing many of Hadrian's last acts won him favor with the Senate, and for this he was said to have been given the name Pius. However, this name may also have come from the fact that he went into the Senate to help the old Annius Verus. So, the job of running the empire kept going. During the year 139 AD, Antoninus and C. Brutius praesens and made some changes to the people who were in charge, but the empire was mostly calm and safe. Marcus did what he was supposed to do and became quaestor. He mostly worked as a secretary and read the emperor's letters in the Senate when Antoninus wasn't there. Antoninus bestowed many awards upon the young Marcus. He was made consul for 140 AD, even though he was still a long way below the normal age standard for the job, and Antoninus was to work with him. Besides this, he was made severi in the yearly parade of knights, and was also made head of the horse order, which made him the Princeps Juventutis. In honor of his place in the line of succession, his name was changed to Marcus Aelius, Aurelius, Verus, Caesar, until he became emperor. Marcus was also admitted to the schools for priests by order of the Senate. He was still a calm young man, even though he didn't have Caesar's power yet. He would later write, "See that you do not turn into a Caesar. Do not be dipped into the purple dye, for that can happen." Even though he was ready to take on the responsibilities of his new job, he didn't want his new position and power to change who he was. This way of thinking was only strengthened when, at Antoninus's request, he moved into the house of Tiberius, the imperial palace on the Palatine. More awards and jobs came his way, but Marcus kept going to school despite his public life. Marcus had many teachers over the years, and it's possible that he started learning how to speak well when he put on the toga virilis. He learned Greek from Annius Macer, Caninius Celer, and then Herodes Atticus. He learned Latin oratory from Cornelius Fronto, though Herodes and Fronto probably didn't teach him before Antoninus adopted him. It was Lucius Volusius Maecianus who taught him law. His older teacher, the Stoic Apollonius, returned to Rome at Antoninus's request to teach Marcus once more. Philosophy was included in his schooling. When called to the palace, he replied, "The teacher shouldn't come to the student should go to the teacher." As a result, Marcus would learn at Apollonius's house in Rome, though it's not clear how much of this was connected to philosophy at the time and how much to public speaking. In a set of letters between Marcus and one of his most famous teachers, the famous lawyer Fronto, he writes as a young man who is eager to learn and thankful for his tutor's help and sometimes criticism, which Marcus gladly took and was determined to learn from. He shows anxiety about writing his thank you speech to the Senate in one letter, but he also frequently showed his love for his teacher and felt bad that he had hurt Fronto by going to Centum Celli from Rome, where Marcus stayed for a while. He was even ready to skip some of his studies to avoid hurting Fronto even more. Marcus worked hard in school, but he wasn't afraid of it either. He writes to Fronto again about a day he spent picking grapes and working with the guys in the fields at one of Antoninus's country farms. Marcus was very serious, but he did get into some trouble sometimes. He also writes about going down a narrow road and coming across a group of sheep blocking the way, A shepherd warned the sheep to be careful of the riders because they steal the most. Marcus then stoked his horse and rode at the sheep, who ran off in all different directions. The shepherd threw his stick, but it missed Marcus and hit another part of his group instead. During the year 140 AD, he became consul, which gave him more duties. The consulship was the highest rank in the Senate, and Marcus would play a key role in helping to run Rome as part of his tasks. He learned how to run a government here, and Antoninus had a big good effect on his life, which you can see in the many books he wrote about his foster father. Even though he wasn't particularly interested in war, this experience would have served to teach him in some way about war-related issues, because he was likely present in his capacity as consul at talks about trouble in Britain and Dacia. The Empress Faustina died near the end of the year, and Marcus was probably involved in getting ready for her state funeral and worship. When Marcus learned that Herodes and Fronto were going to be against each other in a case they were both arguing for, his early exposure to political negotiations and studies in philosophy may have served him well. He wrote both men letters in which he made the case that they shouldn't attack the other man's character, even when they were protecting themselves. Fronto kind of agreed, but he insisted that the horrible crime had to be punished and that it didn't have to be done by smearing the person's reputation. Even taught Marcus a lesson by giving him a small scolding for having dictated the letter instead of writing it himself. No matter how they felt about each other, both men would become consul in 143 AD. However, Fronto would only be suffect consul for the months of July and August, because he was a novus homo, or new man. Marcus was once again not in Rome at this time. He was in Naples. Marcus was made consul for the second time in 145 AD, and Antoninus was once again his partner. He would help put down an uprising in Mauritania during this time, and he wrote to Fronto to worry about how much writing was involved. Lucius, Marcus's adopted brother, probably got the toga virilis earlier that same year, but not much is known about his school years. Because Marcus and Faustina were part of the noble class, Antoninus would have presided over the Confariatio event when they got married in April. To honor the couple, coins were made with their faces on them. Even though Marcus was always ready to learn, by 146 AD he was getting bored with some subjects and discussing his dislike of some of Fronto's later assignments. So, by early 147 AD, when Marcus was 25 years old, his official schooling would come to an end, and his interest in philosophy would grow even more. Quintus Junius Rusticus, who was the son of a martyr to Domitian's rule, had a significant impact. Marcus learned a lot from philosophical lessons, but it was his bonds with people like Claudius Severus and Claudius Maximus that really helped him grow. Another important figure was Sextus of Chaeronea, who was a philosophy teacher and never became famous. Marcus would keep going to his classes even after he became emperor. Each of these men would be mentioned in Marcus's first book of Meditations, along with his other most important teachers. There, he would write about what he learned from them. But 147 AD was a big year for Marcus because it was the year his first child with Faustina was born. This gave him more time to study philosophy. During their marriage, she had at least 13 more children, though, as was usual at the time, many of them did not make it. As soon as the babies were born, Faustina was given the title Augusta, and Marcus was given the tribunician power and imperium. For some, this might have meant a time of military service, but not for Marcus. Antoninus didn't have much experience in the service abroad, and he didn't think Marcus needed to either. Both Antoninus and Marcus refused to go on any trips while Antoninus was ruler. In 148 AD, Rome celebrated its 900th birthday with Antoninus's fancy public games. Around the same time, a new king took over in the east as Parthia. This would cause problems for Marcus during his own rule. In the year 149 AD, Marcus and Faustina had twin boys, which was the start of a hard time for them. The babies' births were celebrated, and the year's coins honored them. But by the end of the year, both babies had died and were buried in Hadrian's tomb. The next year, another girl was born. Between 150 and 156 AD, Faustina had many sons and daughters, but only 2 of her daughters are shown on imperial coins from that year. Marcus lost another family member when his sister died in 152 AD. His mother Domitia also died after 155 AD, but the exact date is not known. 3 more children, a son and 2 daughters, were born between 157 and 160 AD. Unfortunately, his son would not make it. During this troubled time, Marcus kept in touch with Fronto through letters, but the papers that have been found do not address any of his losses. It is with this in mind that Apollonius had told him that loss should be borne. During this time, Lucius became quaestor in 153 AD and then consul in 154 AD, both before they turned the necessary minimum age. However, Marcus had already been given these honors earlier. The adopted brothers had different personalities. Marcus was serious and didn't seem to enjoy combat shows as much as Lucius did. The 2 brothers didn't seem to be competing with each other, though. Most likely, Marcus's duties grew as Antoninus got older. In 160 AD, he shared the consulship with Lucius. However, Antoninus died early in 161 AD after a short illness. To sum up, Marcus was going to take over the empire. But after being approved by the Senate, he refused to assume the emperorship unless Lucius was also made emperor. He did this, in part, out of duty to Hadrian, and maybe also so that the work of running the country would be divided. The Senate also agreed. Marcus had played his public role for many years, but he still didn't want to live this way. But because he was well educated and had studied philosophy, his sense of duty overcame his dislike. The adopted brothers shared power. Marcus was the senior ruler and was called Pontifex Maximus, while Lucius was called Pontifex. They would be called Imperator Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, Antoninus Augustus, and Imperator Caesar Lucius Aurelius Verus Augustus from then on. The Praetorian Guard, who were the emperor's personal bodyguards, had the power to make or break a leader. After killing Caligula in 41 AD, they had to be told that they would be loyal to the new emperor. Following Claudius's lead, Marcus and Lucius gave the Praetorian Guard 5,000 denarii each and the officers a larger amount. This was the first time Marcus and Lucius would be called Imperator together, this time by the Praetorians. The troops would cheer for Marcus as Imperator 10 times during his rule, each time for a different victory. There was no resistance from the Senate to making plans for Antoninus's funeral and worship, and his ashes were buried in the tomb of Hadrian. After the process of deification, Marcus told Lucius that his daughter Lucilla was going to marry him, even though she was too young to get married yet. In late August, Faustina had another set of twins. Their names were Antoninus and Commodus. But the trouble-free first few months of their rule were not to last. In the latter part of the year, the Tiber River flooded badly, damaging buildings, drowning a large portion of the city, causing famine, and causing a major malaria outbreak in the city. People in famine-stricken areas were able to get food from the city and money from the treasury, but an earthquake in Cyzicus made the empire finances even worse. The Tiber had a history of floods, but no real steps were taken to protect the city over the years, even though there were talks about it. Marcus did try to fix this, but the problem was never fully fixed. The eastern edges of the empire were now in danger because of these mishaps. When Antoninus's son Vologases IV became king, he struck Armenia, which was under the protection of the empire. He got rid of the ruler and put someone from the Parthian royal family in his place. Sedatius Severianus led one legion into Armenia in his role as governor of Cappadocia, but was stymied by the Parthian general Chosroes. His legion was wiped out when he realized he couldn't win the fight and killed himself. But the trouble wasn't just in the east. Britain was on the verge of war, and the Chatti had attacked Upper Germany and Raetia. Marcus and Lucius had no military experience to base their future choices in matters of war on, an area of their education that was severely missing due to decision. Marcus changed the current ab epistolus with T because he knew he needed people who knew what they were talking about. A man named Varius Clemens had a long and interesting career in the military. Statius Priscus replaced the dead Severianus, who was in turn replaced in Britain by Sextus Calpurnius Agricola, and Fronto's son-in-law, Aufidius Victorinus, was sent to Upper Germany as governor. The remaking of key posts continued. Some groups, including 3 full legions, were sent from the northern borders to help the people in the east, but the Parthians' invasion of Syria led to even more loss for Rome. Sometime between late 161 and early 162 AD, a decision was made to send Lucius to war. He was picked ostensibly because of his physical strength, which would make him better suited to military work, but it could also have been done to build and change him. Marcus would stay in Rome because he still had to run the empire. Lucius was not to go by himself, though. He was to take some praetorians and with him. A man named Pontius Laelianus Larcius Sabinus was made comes Augustorum, which means king's friend. He had a successful military career. Marcus knew he could count on him for useful advice in the eastern area because of his years of experience. Marcus would also send his first cousin, Annius Libo, who would become governor of Syria and keep an eye on Lucius's actions. Marcus travelled with Lucius for part of the journey when he left later in 162 AD, but when Lucius got sick, Marcus rushed to his side. People thought Lucius had a small stroke, but he got better and kept going on his journey. He finally reached Antioch, the capital of Syria. In the meantime, Statius Priscus came to take leadership and had some success in Syria and in the capture of Artaxata, the capital of Armenia, in 163 AD. But he isn't mentioned in government records for a while after this, so no one knows what happened to him. Marcus kept writing to Fronto even though the war was hard on him. In one of his answers, Fronto comforted Marcus that the war could turn out well for them, just like it had many times before. On the other hand, Lucius seemed to be enjoying his experience. He didn't take part in the battle, and he spent most of his time doing fun things at places outside of Antioch. He did not seem to be changing as hoped. Instead, he seemed to be enjoying his time away from Rome, even taking a lover. However, he would take the initiative in educating troops in Antioch who had become complacent after years of peace, and by taking his job seriously, he eventually became a part of camp life. Marcus made the decision to move the wedding of his daughter Lucilla to Lucius earlier than planned in 164 AD, possibly influenced by rumors of Lucius's lover. By Roman standards, Lucilla was old enough to get married, even though she was only 14. Marcus took her to Brundisium, where she got on a ship with Vetulenus Civica Barbarus, Lucius's uncle on his dad's side, and they left for Ephesus. In the months that had passed, Libo had died, and Barbarus's presence may have been meant to control Lucius's temper. Lucius would meet Lucilla in Ephesus, where the wedding would take place. Lucilla would be called Augusta, as she became a junior queen. During this time, when Rome took back control of Armenia, the capital was moved closer to the borders of Roman land. Lucius made Sohaemus, a senator and Arsacid prince, king of Armenia. This made a pro-Roman leader stay in power and brought back the client state. Marcus didn't want to participate in the title of winning Armeniacus at first, but Lucius finally got him to agree. Marcus was probably of the opinion that the title wasn't his to earn. Rather, it belonged to those who had played a part in the win, given his thoughtful nature and the fact that he didn't fight in the Armenian War. But Marcus didn't do nothing in Rome while everyone else was fighting, and his background in law would now help him. Evidence of his legislative changes, particularly in the areas of manumission of slaves, appointment of guardians for orphans and children, and selection of council members for the provinces, is still present. It was because of his work that public registries were set up. These were run by the prefects of the treasury of Saturn and kept track of the names of all freeborn children born in Rome and the provinces. If anyone ever questioned whether or not a person was born free, these records would show that they were. He increased the number of court days where cases could be heard and decided to 230. He showed a lot of respect for the Senate by giving them the power to judge in probes, even when he was the one who should have been doing it. He also tried to be fair in every case. He showed respect for the Senate by giving them more awards and benefits. Many of his predecessors had ignored them and relied more on their military might to maintain their power. In 165 AD, the war with the Parthians continued, and they kept pushing into Osroene. They had made some progress in the area during the earlier part of the campaign, and now they had taken King Edessa and put the pro-Roman man Lord Manus back in power. It's likely that Martius Verus went after the Parthians, who were running away to the east, while Avidius Cassius led the attack to the south. When the army got to the twin cities of Seleucia and Ctesiphon on the Tigris, Seleucia let the army in. After this, the Parthian capital, Ctesiphon, was taken and Vologases' house was set on fire. However, Vologases himself was not caught, and he continued to rule as Parthian king. Even though the people of Seleucia were happy to see the troops, the city, which had been created by Greeks almost 500 years before, was destroyed, which hurt Cassius's image. Lucius got ready for Fronto to write the history of the war by asking Cassius and Martius for notes, and he also suggested writing his own account. The war was almost over. His pride showed when he told Fronto that he thought his accomplishments could be blown out of proportion. Now, focus would turn to getting ready for the battles in the north, where turmoil was still going on along the border. Along with the reorganization of the rulers of the northern provinces, 2 new armies were formed. At this point in time, in 165 AD, Marcus lost another child. It was the bigger twin son, Antoninus. It was decided that Faustina could go to the east to be with Lucilla, who was pregnant at the time. This may have been because she was still upset about the death. At the same time, Fronto lost his wife first, and then soon after, his younger grandson, whom he had never met. Marcus sent his regrets in a letter. He didn't show any sadness for his own child's death, but he did say that he was very upset that his master was in so much pain. In 166 AD, Cassius would turn back to the east and push deeper into the Parthian kingship. He would go through Media and win more battles for the empire. The troops returned to their posts along the northern border after the Median War was over, and Cassius was placed as the governor of Syria. Lucius then started his journey back to Rome. Before he could finish writing the Parthian history, Fronto would die soon after Lucius returned to Rome. While Antoninus was king, there was peace in Rome. In October, the Parthian war victory would be the first one in Rome in almost 50 years. Lucius asked that Commodus and Annius Verus, Marcus's sons, be given the title of Caesar, which was allowed. They would also ride in the processions. Marcus, who had already been offered the title before, delayed acceptance until Lucius had returned to Rome. Both Marcus and Lucius were given the title Pater Patriae, which means father of the fatherland. But the time it took to win the war in the east meant that problems on the northern border had to wait longer to be fixed. The groups on the northern edges of the border had lived happily with the Romans. But as people moved farther to the north, they had to leave their land because it was becoming too crowded, and they wanted to start over in the south, where the Romans already had control. The invasion by the Langobardi and Obii groups was stopped at first, either in late 166 or 167 AD. Balomarius, the king of the Marcomanni, sent messengers to Aurelius Bassus, who was governor of Upper Pannonia. The envoys went home to their various groups after making peace and swearing oaths. Marcus intended to go to the northern borders, but he was unable to do so because a plague that had been spread by troops coming from Mesopotamia after the Parthian War had spread throughout the empire. Theories abound about what caused the plague. One said that scary fumes came from the Temple of Apollo in Seleucia. Another said that the plague was punishment for sacking the city of Seleucia after they proved to be loyal to Rome. Even though the disease hasn't been definitively named, its seriousness can't be overstated, especially in Rome, a city with a lot of people, and in the army, where there were a lot of deaths. Marcus made rules that said it was illegal to move or bury the dead, and for someone else to steal from graves that were already there. It was also against the rules to build tombs at houses. Marcus's presence in Rome during certain religious ceremonies only slowed down his expedition to the north, and problems were once again arising that needed to be dealt with. A lot of different priests were called to the city to perform foreign religious rites and clean up the city to calm down public anxiety. However, Lucius, who was consul for the third time in 167 AD, spent most of his time doing things that made him happy. He had many feasts at his house on the Via Claudia, and he asked Marcus to come. He brought players from Syria to the feasts. As usual, Marcus, being a good brother, agreed. To set a good example for Lucius, he spent his time there doing work for the court. But the plague made people dislike Christians. Many thought it was a punishment from the gods, and people who were thought to be Christians were arrested, tried, and killed. Marcus didn't write much about the Christians, but in one passage of his Meditations, he says that they accept their deaths not because they want to, but because they were trained to die. This goes against Marcus's own philosophical and Roman ideas about death. During Marcus's rule, this wasn't the first time it looked like Christians were being persecuted. In 165 AD, when Justin was being tried for what the Cynic Crescens said he did, his friend Rusticus was in charge of the case. 5 other people, including Justin, voluntarily admitted to being Christians. They were then slashed and killed, making Justin a martyr. There wasn't any peace with the northern border tribes. The Victuali and Marcomanni were still causing trouble among other tribes, and not long after the first peace talks, their king took over the gold mines in Dacia. This was because he was the king of the tribe's representative at the peace talks. Marcus and Lucius finally left for the north, even though they didn't want to, in the spring of 168 AD. They stopped in Aquileia for a while before continuing their journey. Marcus told people to build more forts along the borders, but Lucius was more interested in the good shooting in the area. So, when the news of a possible peace with the tribes broke out, Lucius, who wasn't too excited about going to the Danube, pushed the idea of returning to Rome. Marcus turned them down, so they went over the Alps for a short visit and stayed at Carnuntum before going back to Aquileia. Marcus had planned to spend the winter in Aquileia and continue the Danube campaign the following year, but the famous Dr. Galen advised a turn back to Rome because of the plague. Lucius persisted, and Marcus finally gave in and agreed to go back to Rome with Lucius. But Lucius would never go back to Rome. He got sick at Altinum, possibly from another stroke, and stayed there for 3 days before he died in January 169 AD. There were many rumors about the co-emperor's death. Some even said that Marcus, Faustina, and Lucilla were plotting against him individually, but none of them can be proven. Upon his return to Rome, Marcus handled Lucius's funeral and worship. Rome was already in a financial mess because of the war in the East, the plague, and the raising of new legions at the same time. More troops were needed to replace those who had died of the plague and to fill out the new legions, but this would still cost money, so Marcus didn't raise taxes. Instead, he held an auction of palace property and sold a lot of it to get the money. Auxiliary units were made up of former gladiators, slaves who got their freedom when they joined, and even bandits who were forced to join. Mercenaries from within the Germanic tribes were also hired, which helped with the cost of recruiting and equipping new troops. All of this wasn't enough, though, so the decision was made to lower the value of the coins, which is something that often happens when money is tight. Marcus's departure from the Danube was postponed until later that year because he had to find a good match for his daughter Lucius's widow and then deal with the death of another child after surgery to treat a tumor. A lot of information about the Danube War was lost or never written down, but the Romans' first attack does not seem to have gone well. The Marcomanni were successful in pushing into Italy and making it as far as Aquileia, raiding villages along the way. Other tribes then made further attacks into Macedonia, Thrace, and Achaia. The exact date of the failed assault is unknown. Claudius Pompeianus, Lucilla's new husband, was put in charge of dealing with these attacks. He brought along Pertinax, who would become ruler for a short time. The Germanic tribes were pushed out of Italy, and the northern regions they attacked one by one. Eventually, at the end of the fighting season in 171 AD, the army caught the Marcomanni at a river crossing on the Danube, trapping them with a lot of spoils. Rebel Moors also attacked Baetica on the Iberian Peninsula at the same time. Aufidius Victorinus was sent by Marcus to deal with this invasion. He was the governor of both the Baetica and Tarraconensis at the same time. Because of this, Marcus lost the senatorial state of Baetica and gave it to Sardinia instead. Septimius Severus, who would become emperor, would serve after a time as quaestor in Rome. Marcus talked with a lot of different groups, including the Quadi, to drive out the ones that were most dangerous to the peace and security of the borders, like the Marcomanni. He even made some deals with other people. Some were allowed to live in the fields of Italy, but they were later sent back after a revolt at Ravenna. So, in 172 AD, Marcus was finally able to start the war again. They crossed the Danube and marched into Marcomanni land. Teams on both sides won and lost, but it was during this part of the game that Marcus is said to have done magic. The first said Marcus called down a lightning bolt from heaven that hit the enemy. The second one is about the wonderful rain. Dealing with the Quadi, who had broken the peace terms by hiding Marcomanni while he was on the run, they circled the Romans from all sides in hot weather, blocking their access to water sources and waiting for them to get tired before sending more people to overwhelm them. The Romans couldn't go back, so they kept fighting even though they were tired from the heat. The clouds suddenly moved in, and it rained hard on them. This quenched their thirst and gave them strength to keep going. After that, the wonders were shown on the column of Marcus Aurelius, which can still be seen in Rome today. It would be Christian writers afterward who said that these wonders were caused by their own god, but pictures on coins and the column show that Marcus only gave credit to Roman gods. Marcus beat the Marcomanni before the end of 172 AD. The group was put under a lot of limits in a deal that was made. It is possible that Marcus's son Commodus was with him at the time of the win and was given the title Germanicus. Other parts of the empire were still experiencing problems despite these achievements. Egypt had a revolt, so Avidius Cassius was sent there from Syria to put it down. Sohaemus had been removed from power in Armenia, and the governor of Cappadocia, Martius Verus, was sent to put him back in charge as the pro-Roman leader. Tiridates was sent to Britain because he was thought to be the one who caused the trouble in Armenia. Marcus had planned to turn back to Rome in 173 AD, but the war with the Quadi and other smaller groups continued, primarily in a series of smaller battles. The last deal with the Quadi was made with their pro-Roman king, but he was kicked out and replaced by Ariogaesus, who was against the Romans. Marcus wouldn't recognize him, wouldn't repeat the contract that wasn't working, and put a reward on his head, alive or dead. But, like Tiridates, Ariogaesus was sent to Alexandria after being captured. When the Sarmatian Jazyges tried to ask for peace in 174 AD, the war moved forward and turned against them. Marcus said no, but not much else is known about this part of the effort. Marcus kept up with his legal duties when he had time, even though he was on the front lines. He had always taken these duties very seriously. At this point, though, it sounds like he might have had an ulcer, since Dio said he had a chest and stomach problem. Galen gave him a medicine called a theriac or cure, which is thought to have contained opium, to help him feel better. Galen's papers show that Marcus would stop taking the cure because it made him sleepy, but then he would not be able to sleep and would have to start taking it again. This makes it seem like he may have become hooked. However, it is not thought that he became a junkie without any control like some others in history. Due to the lack of such important men from death during the plague and later battles, Marcus appointed many men who were not as wealthy or experienced to positions in the Senate and military command during this time. He is also said to have said a number of things about public issues, such as that public games would continue while he was away, and that mixed swimming would no longer be allowed. Marcus Aurelius began working on his meditations in the last 10 years of his life. They are thought to be his most famous and lasting work, a set of 12 books that he wrote himself about the philosophy of Stoicism. Stoicism is a form of philosophy that focuses on positive emotions and lessens the use of negative emotions, which builds character. The meditations are a collection of his thoughts and feelings about his time running for office and running his campaign. His purpose was to use them and improve himself, and they were written in Greek. Marcus set goals for himself that, by today's standards, seem impossible to reach. He also wrote about how pointless, cruel, and short-lived everyday life and other people were while still doing his job. Some people think that the images and ideas in his meditations might have been caused by the medicine he took to treat an ulcer, but there is no proof of this. Some people think that his meditations are one of the best books ever written, even though they were based on the ideas of Stoicism and weren't really new intellectual works. Questioning and analyzing oneself, following morals, and staying focused even when there are distractions are some themes that come up in the meditations. Being able to live in harmony with the logos, or order in the world, and seeing both success and failure as neither good nor bad in and of themselves is another theme. The Sarmatian campaign continued in 175 AD. Its goal was to make the lands of the Marcomanni, the Quadi, and the Sarmatians into regions of the empire. Marcus had previously trusted a man to handle matters in the east, but now he would have to deal with a bid for the emperorship from him. Once Avidius Cassius had put down the herdsmen, or brigands from the Nile Delta, who had risen up against the Romans, he called himself emperor. Some people think he thought Marcus was dead, but this hasn't been proven for sure, and it could have just been an easy way to shield his actions. There would also be a lot of talk about Marcus's wife being involved in this plan. It was agreed that Cassius was ruler in the Egyptian city of Oxyrhynchos. Egypt was one of the most important Roman regions. It was known as the breadbasket of the empire. Augustus had earlier said that senators had to get approval to enter the country. Because of this, Marcus's rule could have been seriously threatened by support for Avidius. He was made a public enemy by the Senate, which made people afraid that he would attack Rome to get back at them for making that decision. Marcus sent a force to protect the city and called Commodus, who had returned to Rome during the Danube War in part to prevent this. Marcus maintained control over the army and praised the virtues of loyalty to his soldiers. At the same time, he raised Commodus to the rank of Princeps Juventutis, which confirmed him as heir. Cassius's 3-month stint as a fake ended when he was killed by one of his own guards, as Marcus got ready to embark on the journey east. Still thinking that he had to be in the east, he quickly made peace with the Jazyges without asking the council, and sent 5,500 of the Sarmatian horsemen that had been sent as a gift to Britain. Faustina died in Cappadocia while they were on this journey to the east. Even though he wrote a lot about sadness, her death made him very sad, and he changed the name of the village where she died to Faustinopolis. The Senate made her a goddess, which may have helped protect her image against the many rumors that had been going around about her life, including that she had had many affairs. Marcus Aurelius was a very complicated person in history. Because of his philosophy and attempts to run the government in a fair and just manner, he is frequently referred to as one of the 5 good emperors of Rome. This is the section with the commas added. After dealing with Egypt, Marcus continued his tour of the East, stopping in Athens where he and Commodus were initiated into the mystic cults of Demeter and Persephone. They would later turn to Rome late in 176 AD. Marcus would now give his son Imperium, allowing him to take part in the victory, and he would have him excused from the Lex Annalis, so that at 15 years old he could hold the consulship in 177 AD, making him the youngest consul up to that point. Soon after his return, he got sick and was treated by Galen again. This time, though, it didn't seem like a serious illness, because Galen said he had a stomachache, and Marcus was well enough to take part in the victory in December. His triumphal arch, which the Senate gave him, does not survive. Although there was still fighting going on in 177 AD, Marcus remained in Rome and returned to his judicial and administrative responsibilities. As well as dealing with trials, Marcus spent time reforming laws again, including those on slavery and the provision of gladiatorial games, to relieve the burden on the upper classes who were required to fund them. Because so many trained gladiators had been drafted into the army, they were in short supply and cost a lot. To make up for this, Marcus let condemned criminals work as gladiators in the provinces. This was also the time of the persecutions of the Christians that led to the martyrs of Lyon. Christians who were accused were sent to the arena to be put to death by ordeal. One of the accused was a Roman citizen. Marcus seems to have stuck to the rule that if they denied their faith, they would be freed. If they didn't, being a Christian was a capital crime, so those who refused were to be beheaded. The Christians who died weren't buried because it was an important part of their faith, so they were later burned. Some people think that Marcus may have been manipulated into this persecution, but this can't be proven for sure. Marcus also had to deal with problems outside of Rome. The Moors, who had been pushed back before, had again invaded Iberia. Also, as earlier in his reign, there was another natural disaster. This time, an earthquake destroyed Smyrna. As the empire's finances began to recover, Marcus sent money to the city to help them rebuild. Gains were made against the Quadi and Marconi in 179 AD. Roman soldiers garrisoned parts of their territory and kept up pressure, which caused the Quadi to break and retreat north. Marcus, the last of the 5 good emperors, was known for his just and fair rule. Despite his initial reluctance to assume the emperorship, he had long been prepared for it, and he did not back down from the challenge. He did much to reform Rome's laws and was instrumental in enacting new legislation that benefited the general populace, including slaves. He was also generous in helping those who were the victims of the numerous natural disasters that occurred during his reign. Marcus was modest in his interactions with the Senate, as few of his predecessors had been, and because of his lack of military training, he relied on the advice of those with more experience in matters of war. Although he did not openly declare himself a Stoic, he upheld the wisdom of the ideals through his everyday actions and exemplary morals. The meditations of Marcus Aurelius are not only valuable and insightful in their meaning, but also provide us with a rare glimpse into the mind of an emperor. If anything outside of you hurts you, it's not that thing itself that bothers you, but your own judgment about it. This is an example of a quote from the Meditations. You have the power to cancel this decision right now. In no way can he be viewed as cruel or tyrannical, as some of his predecessors were, and yet under his rule the persecution of Christians continued. Although not directly sanctioned by Marcus, he played no part in their prevention either, upholding the law of Christianity as a capital crime, clearly with no intention to include it in his reforms. His death would ultimately signal the end of the Pax Romana and Rome's Golden Age. Successive emperors, although some would try, would fail to hold up to his ideals, including his own son and successor, Commodus. In conclusion, Marcus Aurelius is a complicated person in history who is praised for his intellectual wisdom and many good things he did for the Roman Empire. But the fact that he persecuted Christians, even though he was generally kind and fair, is still a point of criticism and debate. His impact is one that historians and experts both admire and argue about.